So when you're ready, slowly bringing yourself down onto the mat. You'll slowly just have your hands under the knees with the knees hip distance. The inner part of the knees will line up with your cheekbones, not your knee, your nose or your ears. So just be mindful that you're not pulling in and out. Slowly roll yourself down and then just set your little towel under your head if you need a bit of support there. And we'll just first of all just work through the articulation of the spine, the neutral and imprint. We'll be talking a lot about this through today's class. So we'll just slowly, automatically, most of you would have just slammed your lower back straight into the mat and tilted your pelvis. So we'll just place the arms out to 45 degrees. We'll bring the legs at 45 degrees, so they're not too lower down and they're not too high. That space in between. And we'll just pick up that tailbone, tilt the pelvis and imprint the spine as we exhale, and then inhale, lay the tailbone back down and allow the lower back to come off the floor. So this movement's very subtle, it's very small, but it's really just bringing the lower back into that natural S-bend that we should have in the spine. So we'll exhale. Yes, all your pets will get involved as soon as you get on the mat. That's quite normal. We'll exhale out through the mouth, feel the navel sucking into spine, and we'll inhale, release the tailbone down, feel the lower back pressing off the floor gently. We're not overexerting. Exhale, imprint the spine, suck the navel into spine, and inhale, release. Let's do 2 more of those. Now this area gets very stiff and tight, so you're not forcing it, you're just doing a small micro movement, and this will get improved the more we do it. Come to a neutral position now, where your lower back is off the floor and you'll feel your tailbone just lay back down onto the mat. Your hips will be level and we'll raise our arms up to the ceiling. Slide the shoulders down towards the mat and then lift them up and then slide them back. We're just protracting and retracting those shoulder blades. Lift fingertips to the sky and then lower them back down. Lift, and you're trying to not imprint your spine, you're staying neutral, spreading out through the toes. Lift and lower. Now I want you to imagine you've nipped your lower floating ribs together. We're going to inhale, take the arms by the eye of the L, by the hairline, and then bring them back to center over the shoulders without popping your ribs open. So this is a good training for any arm options. We're going to inhale, arms go back. We're not trying to touch the floor, and then gently bring them back as we exhale. Inhale, arms looking out the corner of the eyes. You should see those eye of the elbows, and then return to center. Good. One more here. Take the arms back. Don't let the ribs pop or the upper back lift off the floor. Then gently exhale back to center. Take a breath in, lift up to the ceiling again, and then gently float the arms down by the side. We're nice and neutral now. We're going to come into bridge pose. Take a breath in. So you're going to really spread out through the toes, and we're going to imprint the spine as we exhale and slowly tilt the hips and the tailbone up off the floor. Try to keep your hips parallel. You again might now want to move that support of the head if it's a block, and then slowly push the hands down, come to bridge position. You'll feel a squeeze of the glutes, and then slowly peel the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Laying each vertebrae like a pearl necklace. Release to center and neutral position. Lay your tailbone back down. Breathe in at the bottom. So we'll start to bring the movement and breath in through the nose. And exhale, imprint the spine, breathing out through the mouth. Lift the spine. Keep the hips parallel. Try not to let one hip go higher than the other. Press those hands down. The back of the arm should be into the mat. And then slowly melt yourself down as you exhale. Inhale at the bottom, reset back to neutral. And exhale, roll the spine off the mat. Spread out through the toes, try not to lift your toes. Holding at the top. And slowly peel yourself back down. Good, now we'll come back to neutral position. We'll now take our hands behind the head, thumbs together at the back of the neck and elbows out to the side. Now we're going to be practicing ab prep. So we're going to be sliding those lower ribs towards the hips without the belly bulging. Now again, take a nice deep breath in. We prepare, we kind of pull in that ice cube. So you'll hear me talk about this a lot. Your ice cube is in your navel, you're sucking it into spine. And as you exhale, you'll roll the shoulders towards the hips. Inhale at the top, and then we'll exhale, release, roll back down. Inhale at the bottom, feel a little pull up through pelvic floor, transverse abdominals, that's either side of the navel, and exhale, roll up. You're not tilting your pelvis or your tailbone. If your legs are too far up, you'll be doing that. So make sure they're 45, and then slowly release as you exhale down. Take a nice deep breath in. Feel the ribs expand east and west to the back, and then exhale, roll yourself up. Holding at the top, and then gently peel yourself back down. So we're trying to go against gravity where it wants the belly to lift. Inhale at the bottom, feel the gentle pulling in and up, and then exhale, rolling those ribs towards the hips. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, slowly uncurl. So today we're deliberately going a little slower so we can just get the movement and breath. So in your own time, rolling in and rolling back. So this is helping us to work on those six-pack abdominals and getting the breath, getting that connection of knot. Some of you could even have a squidgy ball or a blanket in between the knees if your knees like to knock. You can also again have your little head support underneath your head. Two more here. Rolling up, exhale. And if you're doing this correctly, you should feel this pretty quickly. We're not jerking, we're just, again, really isolating, and then gently come back to center. Good. When you're ready, pull your front knee, your right knee into chest, and just take a little ankle release there, circle the ankle, and then go the other way. It will clink and clank, that's quite normal. Take a breath in, then exhale, lift that front leg, right leg to the sky. Place the hands behind the thigh, and then just bend from the knees. So if there's any knee issues, we're keeping the knee now over the hip. We're just stretching this hamstring, the back of the leg. Stretch the heel to the sky, flex the foot, and then lower back down. And again, stretch, lengthen. Don't worry if you can't stretch the knee completely, that's fine. Good, stretch. Now this back knee can stay bent if you're completely new to hip circles. If you're a bit more practiced with hip circles, you can extend that foot. We're now going to place the arms down, and your beginner level is keep the knee on a 45 degree. Imagine you've got a pencil coming out of the kneecap. We're going to now take the knee away from the navel, draw a circle with the kneecap or the toe, and then bring it back to center without this left side swinging around trying to help. So we're isolating into that right hip. So slowly exhale out, draw the circle. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, circle. And again, it's quite normal if you haven't done these for some time. It's going to clink, it's going to clank. You're trying to just hold here. So sometimes even holding your hands on your hips to make sure your whole body is not swinging with you. Make it smaller if you feel that happening, or modify and just do the bent knee version. Good. Now we're going to try and go the other direction, so over the navel and round. Take a breath in and exhale out, and inhale, come back over center. So again, just going in the other direction, trying again not to move. Even for me, I haven't done this for a few weeks, so it's reminding myself to use these core muscles here. So these transverse abdominals, that navel into spine is really connected. You don't let go of that ice cube. Keep that other leg flexed or keep it bent. And then come back to center. Slide the leg in. Let's take a nice piriformis stretch. Flex the foot. And then just gently bring the leg in. Option here is to thread the hands through, so we get really nice deep stretch into this glute. Slowly lower the leg down. Slowly release. Rock and roll the pelvis again. Find your neutral position again. So our lower back is off the floor, our ribs are nipped in, our shoulder blades are connected. And then bring your left leg in now. Hold behind that kneecap and then just stretch the leg up, just as we did on the other side, and then bring it back down. You can keep this leg bent. If you know what you're doing, you can stretch it out in front and flex the foot. Again, I forgot this, the ankles, turning of the ankles, so maybe do a couple of those. And again, if you've been doing some New Year running, maybe these hamstrings are really tight, so they might enjoy that stretch there. Good. Option modify. If you did bent knee on the other side, you're probably going to do it on this side. So kneecap to the ceiling, hands to the side or on those hips to help you first of all. Take the knee away from the navel, exhale, and draw that circle, and inhale, return it to center. Exhale, again, you're trying not to move this left hip to help. We're really just trying to isolate into that deep hip joint. And it's also giving the body the opportunity just to isolate. So we're thinking about, I'm using my hip. Good. Breathing into it. And then holding here, take a breath in. Then let's release, go the other side. Circle round. Bring it home. And again, one side might feel a little stiffer. Some of you are maybe doing it with a slightly taller leg. That's whatever feels good for you. For me, this one's quite clinky and clanky, so don't worry if you're struggling. Just stop and rest if you need to. Good. And then go the other way if we haven't already. Just noticing how that hip is responding. You've got a little glute connection, but you're more just using that ice cube into spine. Slide that right leg in now, flex the foot, and then gently thread through. Good. Then when you're ready in your own time, come back to rocking and rolling the pelvis. We're going to do a few toe taps now, sequence. So from here, we'll lift our right leg off the floor without imprinting the spine and then lower it down. Then we'll pick up the back leg, knee over the hip, and tap it toe heel down without moving that lower back. So we're using those transverse abdominals, we're sucking the ice cube in, we'll lift, place those arms down and we'll lower. We will lift and lower. If you know your toe taps, lift both your legs off and just start your toe taps if you know what you're doing. Now we're trying not to imprint the spine, we're staying neutral. We really should feel both sides of the navel, that activation there. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Okay, rock and roll your pelvis again. You probably slipped back into a slight imprint there. Let's see now if we can lift the front leg. Now we're going to imprint the lower back and lift the back leg. So now we should have a really strong connection of either side of navel. Suck in, head down, arms down, and we'll tap and return. Now if there's any back issues, this may be too much too quickly. So too weight bearing for your lower back. So go back to just the single leg lift or do your bridge pose. Tap down and release. And tap and release. Now you should be feeling that exhale out through the mouth. That inhale lifts. Your abdominals are working really hard now. Yeah, that area underneath the belly button. And release. Now we can try this with some arms. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. If it's too much, keep your arms down. And we can try a scissor arm, an opposite arm, opposite leg, like we did earlier. We're trying to nip those ribs in and not let the shoulders come off the floor. So we'll tap, exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, tap. So we're not rushing. We're taking it really slow and controlled. Exhale, tap. Inhale, return. Exhale, tap. Inhale, return. Exhale, tap. Inhale, return. Good. Some of you are well used to this. You can slide away and you can advance this a bit. But if you're coming back to basics, just stay here. Bring the arms back down at any point it feels too much. Or stop and rest and hug knees in. We'll try 4 more. So as we tap, alternate, good, and release. And 3. So you're not letting go of that ice cube. You're sucking the ice cube into spine. 2. And 1. Good, well done. Hug the knees in. We're now going to roll onto our bellies to work on some back extension. So we're going to roll ourselves up, come onto our knees and onto our bellies. Again, you might want that little towel just under the tip of your head just to give your spine a bit of length and support. We're going to take our arms out to the side and we're going to just move our hips side to side. We're now going to feel the front core support. This is how the core works together. As we press the pubic bone down into the mat, we'll then suck the ice cube into spine. It's an automatic thing that the body will do once we train it. But when you're first new to Pilates, you have to remind yourself to do it. So just tap your pubic bone into the mat on the inhale breath and then suck the ice cube in. It's kind of done in one go. Tap, pull in. Then we'll exhale, lift the front right leg off the floor using the glutes. Not so much. We're trying to just isolate into the lower back. and lower down. Tap down, squeeze in and lift the back. So this is just building up some strength in the erector spinae muscles of the lower back, the lumbar spine. The dominant glutes always want to do the work, so we're trying to switch them off. We're trying not to let them kick in. Tap down, squeeze in, so you'll feel the front core abdominals supporting the lift. And lower down. Lift and lower. Lift. Now if that feels good and you've got no signals, no pain or strain, anything from the lower back telling you it's not happy, then you can continue. If not, stop and rest, and then just sit back into a child's pose and just rest out for this next one. The next one is swimming. But we're going to start off this week with an opposite arm, opposite leg. So stretch your arms out, keep a slight softness of the elbow. Wobble the hips again, get the thighs nice and comfortable. And for me, I like my legs a bit wider than my hips. Take a breath in. You should be able to follow me looking down at your mat. Press your pubic bone down, suck the ice cube in, and lift your opposite arm, opposite leg. And when we start to lift the head, it goes where the hairline is, where that eye of the elbow is. And then we'll slowly lower down. Take a breath in. So you're engaging the core, supporting, and exhale, lift. And then lower down. Good. Gently lengthening. So you're trying to lengthen the middle finger and the big toe away from each other. Keeping it nice and controlled. Remember, some of you haven't done any back extension, back strengthening work for a long time. So we're just going to build the foundations, the movement and breath, making the body feel more functional. So we're, again, just building that strength. Some of you are well practiced with this, and you can come into swimming lifting both arms and patting the arms and the legs down. That's not for a beginner. A beginner's just going to stay just with lifting the legs, and then maybe opposite arm, opposite leg is just going to be your first foundation. Four more here. Two more. Last one. Good, and then slowly bring your hands underneath your shoulders or elbows even. Let's take a little bit of a stretch now. We're going to peel the head up and we're going to slide the arms in, peel the shoulders away. This is our cobra. Again, for me, I like to have my legs a little wider just because I've got some disc degeneration. So that just feels a bit comfortable for me. You'll feel a bit of a stretch into the belly through the hip flexors as well. Take a nice deep breath in and then slowly come up. Take yourself to a cat-cow. If kneeling is not for you, then you could do a child's pose, or if not, just do a standing up kneeling if kneeling is not for you. It's just to release the spine. Taking an exhale, roll up, and then inhale, release. Good. You can just do a cat-cow seated. If you really can't kneel, then just come to cross-leg and just do a seated version if it's not for you. Good, and then when you're ready, slowly you're going to roll onto your side and you're going to stretch your legs out. Now you're going to take your bottom leg towards the top corner And then extend the top leg in a nice straight line. Again, your towel would come in handy here because you could just stretch your arms out and place your towel under your head. So your spine is nice and lengthened. We're going to place our arm down and we're going to lift that top leg and lower it down. So we'll bring a little bit of inside thigh, yeah, and outside thigh. That stretch through the torso, so a little bit of obliques as well. And lift and lower. Lift. And sometimes Pilates in the morning before breakfast is good. You know, we're going to earn our breakfast. Maybe a nice sort of healthy shake with lots of green things in it would be good. A bit of protein. All of your supplements after your workout. And then you've got Dakota today at lunchtime. Yeah, for some cardio boxercise. So a bit of protein between now and lunchtime will do you well. Lift and lower. Now, some of you are going to just stay here, just lifting and lowering, not too high. We don't want to be swinging that leg up too high. We want control and precision. Lift the top, lift the bottom, lower the bottom, lower the top. So it's a bit of a scissors. This is quite challenging. You're probably going to need to use that hand, pressing it down on using the tips of your fingertips, yeah, to help you balance and not rock back. Lift and lower. Good. We're then going to swap sides. We're then going to come up. You could just turn the other way. We're doing exactly the same thing. Stretching out the body. Take the bottom leg towards that top corner. Use your towel, stretch your whole body long, flex that top foot and use your hand in front and lift and lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. So you've still got that ice cube sucking in towards the spine, not too high with the leg. Your leg should not be going up too high, just in line with the hip and pull back through. Very controlled. Option again here, lift the top, lift the bottom, lower and lower. Lift, lift, lower and lower. Good. Lift, lift, or stick on the single leg. Lift, lift, lower and lower. Last one. Then bring the knees in. You're slowly going to roll yourself up now to a sitting or kneeling position, however feels right for you. Shoulders away. Let's do a nice little neck release. Take a nice deep breath in. And then we're going to gently draw the ear towards the right side. So you can cup the hand and you can even stretch out that arm. Ooh, didn't realise how stiff my neck was this morning. Especially if you're going to be working from home all day today, slumped over a chair, staring at your PC. Lift your chin. Do this a few times today. This will really help just put some moisture and lubrication into the neck joint and shoulders if you're really tight. Drop the chin, come back to center. Breathe in, maybe roll shoulders, and then gently take the ear to the other side. Lift the chin again, stretch the arm out. Just see how the body's responding. Back to center. Come back to center. Roll the shoulders up. Roll the shoulders back down. Roll the shoulders up. And then go the other way again. You can do this while you're sat at your desk. And down. And up. And down. Take a moment here just to prepare for the day. Lovely, guys. Thank you so much for your practice this morning. A little express 30 minutes class this morning with me, Jackie. Thank you so much for joining. You've got Dakota at lunchtime with a boxercise. You don't need any equipment. It's just a cardio. And then tonight with me